Hi, good to see you guys with my hair again. How you doing? Everyone here go home for Thanksgiving?
No!
You guys made the right decision. Whoever said no. First thing I like to do whenever I go back home is open up Tinder. Not for the hookups or anything. I'm pretty sure my vagina actually seals itself shut whenever I cross the Ohio border. No. It's to see who's gay now. Now that y'all are playing on easy mode. It's mostly for the tea, but also as a very specific form of self-harm where I swipe through all the girls who used to call me a dyke in middle school who are now looking for thirds. The Tinder snooping, it has nothing on Facebook. It's almost worth the slow erosion of our democracy. Between the predictable onslaught of high school acquaintances, having kids, finding Jesus, and stealing oxy, and more and less harmful orders, there are the real surprises. Like the guy who spent high school organizing an over-under how big my nipples were is now a newly sober, non-binary Wiccan who says things like, the tourist jumped out. So, people change. It took me 3 days back in Ohio before I saw a Blue Lives Matter sticker on a Prius, so some things never change. I also didn't know Mayor Pete was in town. It was a surprise. But I'll put aside that, he was designed in a lab to jerk off centrists who still crave their adult children's approval, because I, more than anyone else in the world, understand his pain. You see, there is nothing revolutionary about having a difficult name when you're white. It's just an inconvenience for everyone involved. My last name is just 4 letters up, but Geye, but the 3 vowels seems to give everyone brain aneurysm. But every time I see a professor look down at my name and say Ruth Geye, I just think about all the missed opportunities, because I have an objectively hysterical last name and I can't even do slam poetry about it because it is German. It wasn't until I moved to New York that I realized how strange my Ohio public school education was. Apparently no one here to take Bible is lit in high school. Every time I tell people that, they look at me like I jumped out of the Handmaid's Tale cinematic universe, but it was mostly just writing essays about which Mumford & Sons songs were the horniest for the Lord. That's about as frisky as class got, because Ohio is also an abstinence-only state. Now, since a few of you out here look like you're not allowed with 100 feet of skull, let me catch you up real fast. So that just means that they have to teach the only way to prevent pregnancy is abstinence. It also means that once when I was 12 and I came home from school and my dad asked me what I learned that day, I said, condoms are an ineffective method of birth control. And he just looked at me and said, I know. I'm kidding, I was planned, probably. What he actually did was proceed to break out a pen and paper and explain how that 63% effectiveness statistic we learned couldn't possibly be true, because he didn't have hundreds of children. Now, I don't know if you know, but infinitely worse than being told you were a mistake is your father feeling the need to clarify that he fucks. Mathematically. They also, since condoms were out, one method of birth control they did teach us was a little something called outer course. For those of you who are rusty on your Latin roots, that's just elevated dry humping. Oh! Say what you will about the Ohio Board of Ed, but it's pretty progressive of them to promote lesbian sex like that. Incidentally, my chosen form of birth control. All right, good night, guys.